वहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः।
पुनरपि जननं पुनरपि मरणं पुनरपि जननी जठरे शयनम्। इह संसारे बहुदुस्तारे कृपया पारे पाहि मुरारे। प्रत्याचर्पटविरचितग्रन्थः पुण्या पुण्यविवर्जितपन्थः। योगी योगनियोजितचित्तो रमते बालोन्मत्तवदेव। कस्त्वं कोऽहं कुतायातः कामे जननी को मे तातः। इति परिभावय सर्वमसारं विश्वं त्यक्त्वा स्वप्नविचारम्। त्वयि मयि चान्यत्रैको विष्णुः व्यर्थं कुप्यसि मय्यसहिष्णुः। भवसमचित्तः सर्वत्र त्वं वाञ्छस्य चिराद्यदि विष्णु त्वम्। शत्रौ मित्रे पुत्रे बन्धौ मा कुरु यत्नं विग्रहसन्धौ। सर्वस्मिन्नपि पश्यात्मानं सर्वत्रोत्सृज भेदाज्ञानम्। कामं क्रोधं लोभं मोहं त्यक्त्वात्मानं पश्यति सोऽहम्। आत्मज्ञानविहीना मूढा ते पच्यन्ते नरकनिगूढः। येयं गीता नाम सहस्रं ध्येयं श्रीपतिरूपमजस्रम्। ज्ञेयं सज्जनसङ्गे चित्तं देयं दीनजनाय च वित्तम्। सुखतः क्रियते रामा भोगः पश्चादन्तशरीरे रोगः। यद्यपि लोके मरणं शरणं तदपि न मुञ्चति पापाचरणम्। अर्थमनर्थं भावय नित्यं नास्ति ततः सुखलेशः सत्यम्। पुत्रादपि धनभाजां भीतिः सर्वत्रैषा विहिता रीतिः। प्राणायामं प्रत्याहारं नित्यानित्यविवेकविचारम्। जाप्यसमेतसमाधिविधानं पूर्ववधानं महदवधानम्। गुरुचरणाम्बुजनिर्भरभक्तः संसारादचिराद्भवमुक्तः। सेन्द्रियमानसनियमादेवं द्रक्ष्यसि निजहृदयस्थं देवम्।
सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारंभं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा. On the auspicious occasion of Saraswati Puja, we invoke the blessings of Goddess Saraswati so that we enhance the knowledge of the self within us. We have discussed the significance of Saraswati in detail before. All the Hindu gods and goddesses have a unique feature that they show the ultimate perfection pictorially, symbolically, graphically, and they also show the path to reach that. Saraswati represents everything that is divine, everything that is sattvic, everything that is pure, everything that is feminine. And worship of Saraswati is not confined to India. It is there in other Eastern Asian countries also. Japan has a similar goddess with similar veena in the hand. I think called as Byzantine. I don't know the pronunciation. That is Goddess Saraswati only. One of the main features that we see in Saraswati's picture is that she has Vedas on one hand, Japamala in the other hand, and with the other two hands she plays veena. This is very relevant to the verse that we are doing here, that it is an integrated spiritual practice that she shows there. Vedas represent the spiritual study, which is the Jnana Yoga, which is the food for thought at the intellect's level. Veena represents art, represents devotion, which is the path of Bhakti Yoga. Bhakti and Jnana should go hand in hand. This is a very important aspect that Vedanta students should understand, because there is a constant emphasis on knowledge here, but unless otherwise it is like when you cut the steel of ignorance with the saw of knowledge. It is not possible unless otherwise you add the oil of devotion. It has to go together. Mere devotion without understanding may lead to fanaticism. Mere intellection without any feeling can lead to arrogance. But a right combination of both is the real knowledge. So Saraswati's playing of Veena shows the Bhakti Marga. Vedas shows the Jnana Marga. All this finally culminates in single pointed concentration, taking the thought out of the system, which is the key to realization is meditation, which is shown by the Japamala. So our ultimate aim of all our studies here, all the practices of bhakti that we do, is finally to transcend the ignorance, bring it to the single pointed concentration and crush it out of existence through meditation. So the meditation is also indicated there. The highest form of spiritual practice is meditation. So seated on the lotus with white sari draped around her, showing all purity, she also shows the path to reach the perfection, which is karma plus bhakti plus dhyana. In the Kaivalya Upanishad we studied when Ashvalayana goes to Lord Brahma and asks for the method to understand the truth, he says, Shraddha Bhakti Jnana Yoga Davehi. You have to learn it through the yoga of Shraddha, Bhakti and Dhyana. This is what exactly Saraswati represents. We invoke her blessings so that the knowledge of the self dawns upon us. It is with her grace that we have to acquire the knowledge of the self. Right. Verse 30 talks about the Antaranga Sadhana, we said. Antaranga Sadhana is the sadhana that we practice at the introverted level. Ashtanga Yoga is indicated here. There are 8 steps that are given in the Ashtanga Yoga. The 8 steps are Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana and Samadhi. Step by step it leads to the state of Samadhi, which is self-absorption. As we have been repeatedly saying, this is not a path that is right royally given for everyone. Very few adhikaris who are capable of doing it under a strict guidance of a practiced guru who has practiced himself and who is at that seat, only then we can attempt this. And most people who talk even about this in terms of finally because meditation is what has caught the imagination of every person all around the world. Meditation is the way to calm the mind, is what is thrust into their system. And I'm not saying it is wrong, but being a higher spiritual practice with tremendous effect, one must be qualified for deeper meditation on a consistent basis. Suppose once in a while if you meditate and if you get the immediate calming of the mind, that is a very limited purpose of it, and that you cannot do on a sustained basis. In other words, on what bhava or on what basis do you undertake meditation? Here it is ultimately to take the mind into self-absorption state where it is ultimately quietened, absolutely quietened. It is stilled, it is made still. That is the purpose of meditation, for which before that state is Samadhi state is dhyana, which is meditation. Before that is dharana. Dharana is a continuous flow of thought towards the self. It is not single pointed thought, but there is a continuous flow of thought. See, one is to say that to keep your mind aloft in a single thought, bereft of all other thoughts, it is one point. That one point you can keep anything which represents the self. That is meditation. But if I say I take you through a guided thought where I am asking you to imagine that you are going to Tirupati and the bus is going up, then you are going in, standing in the queue, then we are moving along the queue, you are seeing now the darshan, and we describe the Lord from head to toe, step by step. It is not a single pointed concentration, but there is a continuous flow of thought which is centered around that. This I am giving as an example. Dharana is like that when the thought of the God permeates in you in a way by which you are constantly thinking of Him in one way or the other, in and through all your activities, where you are like one with Him. In all your activities, all your thoughts and emotions are centered around that. That sort of a state is dharana. Before dharana is uparati, where you are withdrawn from the world. How can the thought of self preoccupy you if your thought is preoccupied in the world? So Pratyahara is a state where the mind's preoccupation from the world is taken off and there is a withdrawal of senses. There is not running out into the world anymore. You are all by yourself. You are introverted. You are very satisfied to send the thoughts within rather than out. And that is a capacity that has also been to be developed. It is not that, yes, you can try hard, but it is a capacity that is developed by previous sadhanas. So before Pratyahara comes Pranayama. So Pranayama and before that Asana, these are the states by which the body is seated in one place. Asana, Asana Siddha is, can you sit in one place without moving for 30 minutes? Any asana, even normal Sukhasana or a Padmasana. Pranayama is your breath under your control. So unless otherwise the body is under control, prana is under control, then the withdrawal of senses is there. Dharana, dhyana and samadhi is difficult. So one cannot directly plunge into meditation. One cannot directly get into that state. You are dealing with your own mind. I mean, ultimately it is your experience that is your pramana. Suppose somebody says, no, I meditate daily for 1 hour and I am getting peace. That is what finally counts. But be very careful even in reading your experiences properly. Because you are playing with your mind and see, as we said, when you do karma yoga and if you fall down, it is falling down as you are walking. You can get up and walk again. But you are climbing a very high ladder or a high mountain and falling from there. The fall is precipitous. So be very careful when the sadhana is of that caliber. Before which he says, before the asana, he says, first and second stages, Yama Niyama. So people conveniently forget all these things and then directly plunge into meditation. It is not scientific. Yama is basic control over one's personality. So suppose if we are asking what do we do in the Vedanta Treatise class, what does Swamiji mean by even development of intellect at the basic level? When he says it is there available for you to run your business, to lead a happy life in the family, to have marital harmony, to have a good relationship in office and home. All this is with reference to little bit of amount of intellect and objectivity by which you can conduct the business in life smoothly. For which there must be a basic control over our personality. So if we are able to have even Yama Niyama instilled within us to some extent, that itself is a great sadhana. So it is not that only having finished this 100% then you go to next. Parallelly you can do other things also. But there's some sort of establishment must be there at the lower levels before you can attempt the higher levels on a consistent basis. Yama refers to control. There are various aspects to it. 5 main features are given: brahmacharya, ahimsa, Satyam, Asteyam, Aparigraham. Brahmacharya is a firm control over one's own senses. It is understood as celibacy, but it is a surface meaning. The deeper meaning is where you have control over all the senses and you are walking on the path of Brahman. That is the Brahmacharya. Of course, it involves conserving of energy at all levels. So Brahmacharya refers to that also. But it is essentially control of the senses in the sense that you are master of the senses. The senses are not dragging you at the mental level, at the physical level. At the mental level, ahimsa. Ahimsa is the attitude of being non-injurious at every level of your personality. Not wanting to hurt others, even a mosquito or a fly. Most of the people don't practice ahimsa. If at all they practice, they stop the practice of ahimsa at the physical level, merely, let's say, by closing the mouth so that the germs do not go in. For that alone, I mean, that's good practice, I would say, but that alone is not ahimsa. Ahimsa, you may hurt others with your words. You may be very rude in your conduct. That is hurting again. On the other hand, sometimes you can be using even physical aggression or violence, yet practice ahimsa. Ahimsa is causing least disturbance to the universe, nature in general, so that there is a general peace. That is ahimsa. You cannot live without killing. Let us be clear. When you make tea also, you kill germs. It's not possible without killing. With higher awareness, you don't want to create more disturbance. That is what is... See, Osama bin Laden was a very well-known terrorist. He can cause destruction to society, humanity. If Osama bin Laden is killed, who are affected? Maybe the people around him, his associates, his family may be affected. No doubt, to that extent it is himsa. But his killing has to result in the peace of the general good of the world, means that is done. So you have to understand only in relative terms. There is no such thing as absolute ahimsa. Very interesting thought. Bhagavan Rajneesh, Osho, is a different thinker altogether. Nobody probably is a very, very original thinker in various sense. He is saying that the apostle of ahimsa, which we understand, or which is thrust into us as Mahatma Gandhi, is not actually practicing ahimsa. He says, he proves from his own conduct. If I'm able to, if I say you follow my ideas or ideologies, otherwise I'll shoot you. I keep a gun on your head and say that I give you a choice, either to die or to live by my principles. That is obviously himsa, because I'm trying to impose my thought upon you, but that's violence in a way. But if I put that gun in my head and say you better follow, otherwise I'll shoot myself, you don't have a choice. So putting the gun on your head is also violence, putting the gun on my head is also violence, he says. It cannot be called as ahimsa. So ahimsa is that attitude of non-injury. Satyam is intellectual honesty. Satyam is speaking truth. Speaking truth is again an aspect of it. But the real Satyam is to be honest to yourself at the intellect's level, to follow your conviction and conscience. Sometimes you have to say a lie for the situation, if the situation arises, if your conviction says that is the right thing to do. Suppose if certain ruffians are chasing a girl and she hides in your house and they ask you, where is the girl? You can't say she is in my house. You say that she has gone somewhere. You are lying. But you know what is the situation, that has to be done. That is upholding your conviction and going by your conscience. That is Satyam. Asteyam, not coveting others' wealth. It is not just only wealth. Anything that you think in terms of that should belong to me, which does not belong to you. Ma grada kasya svidhanam is the Upanishadic statement. Whose wealth are you coveting? You are seeing something else apart from you, that is the highest. But this thought, people, it could be that somebody else's tune he copies, somebody else's words he copies and passes off its own. Everything is that habit of covetousness. There is enough resource within you to think and produce originally also. And obviously, wealth, aparigraham, absence of hoarding. This is a very important aspect of the spiritual sadhana. Why do you want to hoard wealth beyond your means? Or don't say it is my wealth only, but for what? We saw in the Deyam Diya Dina Janaya Chavittam. You have to circulate. Everything has to be done through you. Wealth is given to you only for charitable disposition. So what is the big deal in hoarding? Even if you say it is for the next generation, the best gift that you can give to your son or daughter is you give some satsang to them. That is the best property that you can leave for them, because they are smart enough to earn their own wealth. Sooner or later they are going to establish themselves. That is there. That talent everybody will have in some form or the other, little more or little less. That's about all. They know how to take care of themselves materially. But what cannot be very easily instilled or got at a later stage is the right company. That is what the father or the mother has to inculcate, lead him to the guru. That is the wealth. So aparigraham is not hoarding. These are minimum yamas that we must have. Niyama is certain contact that we do so that we are ready for the spiritual path. Shaucham, maintaining cleanliness. Obviously all this is given at the mental level, but it is applicable at the physical level also. Maintaining cleanliness everywhere. Santushtaha, santosha, that is being content with what you have. Absolute contentment. It is on the other side of the not hoarding. Only if you are able to be content with what you have at the material level can you be seeking something spiritual. Let there not be contentment at the spirituality level. Let there be contentment at the material level. Tapaha, that willingness to put in the effort to undergo physical pain in order to get the thoughts focused on the higher. That capacity is tapas. Swadhyaya. Very relevant to our verse, what he is saying now. Self-study. That idea that one has to spend time to know about oneself through the scriptures. Know about oneself means I am thinking of what all I did from the childhood. No, not like that. Of course, you learn from past experience, that apart. The scriptures' main theme is you. It is talking about you, me, everybody, the individual. So Swadhyaya is self-study through the scriptures. And finally he says Ishvara Pranidhana. It comes in the very beginning, that you surrender unto the Lord, Supreme Lord. So this is all the basic requirement. To some extent, at least if you are not established in it, other steps becomes difficult. We are not saying it is impossible or something, but all these things becomes easy. So step by step we have to go, and once you are rooted, it goes like that. So this is what he means finally when he says Kurva Vadanam Mahadavadanam. Do not rush into this. It's not that you have to, quickly catch a bus and therefore I have to finish all the sadhana now and then realize this. That you have made a U-turn and been in the spiritual path itself is God's grace. It is Guru's grace. Take it step by step. All that we need to be worried about is a train that has derailed has to be put carefully on the track. Take time to do it. Put it on the track. Once it is properly on the track, it will not deviate. It is a matter of time before it is going to reach the destination. Then you have to slowly go in the path. That is there. But be very careful. Take every step as a solid step that you take towards this, as long as this path is concerned. And here also, very clearly he says, which is in the path, all that is indicated here, Nitya Anitya Viveka Vicharam. So when you are doing like this, when you are seated, when the prana is controlled and everything, what is it that you finally do with all this? Is that you are discriminating as to what is real and what is unreal, what is permanent and what is impermanent. This is what the real Swadhyaya does. When you say Swadhyaya, self-study, ultimately the churning is, I am not this body, I am the self. I am not this mind, I am the self. I am not this intellect, I am the self. So the anitya, or the impermanent aspect of my personality is segregated, and that which is the permanent aspect of the personality is established. This is negation and assertion. So this is essential aspect of Jnana Yoga. We said in the last class, Jnana Yogena Sankhyanam, Karma Yogena Yoginam. There are two paths that are given. One is the extroverted path for the extroverts, which is Karma Yoga. One is the introverted path, which is Jnana Yoga. Jnana Yoga, why it is the essence is, it is ultimately the absorption of this knowledge. So this is a very potent sentence given here by Adi Shankaracharya, that what is Jnana Yoga? If you want to define in one sentence, it's clearly given here: Nitya, Anitya, Viveka, Vichara. The essential discrimination between what is permanent and what is impermanent on a continual basis, if you are able to do that, that is Jnana Yoga. That yoga which does not require any external paraphernalia is Jnana Yoga. Again, I say it is for the prepared people, but it is easy. For puja, you have to do all preparations. For pilgrimage, you have to do all the preparations that you do and go there. Even if you want to attend a class, write notes, everything has to be done. But sit in a place and discriminate as to who am I? I am really this self. I am not this body, mind and intellect. That requires no other external paraphernalia. It is just that a prepared mind does this. So, Swamiji's commentary on this verse is with reference to usually what he says at the sadhana given at the body, mind and the intellect's level. Pranayama refers to all the activities at the body level where there is control over senses, prana and everything. Pratyahara is all the practices that are at the mind level where there is a withdrawal of the senses by the mind inside. Once this control is achieved by the body and the mind, it prepares you for jnana, which is nitya, anitya, viveka, vichara. If you are constantly doing like this, it goes into the state of uparati, which is withdrawal, dharana, which is a continuous flow of thought, and then dhyana, which is single pointed thought. That single pointed thought is sustained. When you reach that state of meditation, that single pointed thought is sustained by practice of japa. Japa means chanting. When the thought is at lower level, the frequency of the thought is high. This is the x-axis, which is consciousness. The mind's frequency is at a very higher level based on agitation here. By practice, it is brought to a rhythmic level closer and closer to the consciousness. When finally you reach a single pointed thought, you are almost here, touching here. Like this it goes. So each and every thought, there is a chant that is there to sustain that single pointed thought. Single pointed thought means there is no other thought at that point of time. To the exclusion of all other thoughts, your mind is pegged on what you think as self. It is the state at which you are completely absorbed in the thought of the self. All other, meaning the sadhana that we do is not for attainment of self-realization, because that we already are. The sadhana is to remove the ignorance which covers the self. And the last phase of ignorance is the stage where this person is in, and that is taken care by the sadhana of meditation. Meditation is the art of keeping the mind aloft on a single chosen thought to the exclusion of all other thoughts. This definition is important because in English we may use the term meditation in any way that we want. Some people talk about a mind going through certain motions in thinking of a sunrise, sunset or beach and various other things. That also they say as meditation. There are various other ashrams and where meditations are practiced. They also have various types of meditation. And sometimes even 1 hour of meditation that I have is divided into 5 parts. First part is actually like jumping vigorously, and then the body gets tired, then you sit down, then you relax, like that 12 minutes each, and then finally you close your eyes, like that it is given. Now, all this can be any practice. I really do not know the science behind it, but you cannot say the entire thing is meditation with reference to this definition where it is kept aloft on a single chosen thought. So, the japa is the scientific method by which the mind is kept aloft on that single pointed thought. So the most famous or common mantra is Om. Om is the closest representation of Brahman. So the chant Om, 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 like that, when you can chant aloud, later chant goes into internally. Every chant actually is maintaining that thought on Brahman, and each and every chant and silence represents the crest and trough here. This is what is discriminated by the intellect as a last stage. So for intellect to discriminate, there are two things, and here the two things are sound and silence. And finally, when the sound dies into mental whispers and then into absolute silence, that is where in the sacred moment of realization that the mind snaps and you merge with the consciousness. All this, this is dramatization, but even the stage of meditation, one has to practice. One has to practice first with open eyes, with a picture in front, maybe with even agarbatti and other conducive atmosphere there. Then slowly that practice goes into longer hours, then closed eye meditation. So it is a practice over a period of time. But before getting into the practice of meditation, we practice karma, bhakti, jnana and all other things so that the mind becomes prepared for meditation. Therefore he says, Japya Sameda Samadhi Vidanam. You have to practice this japa until it reaches the state of Samadhi. Samadhi is the state of total absorption of the mind. That is absolute stoppage. Chitta Vitti Nirodha. That is, the mind's flow is stopped, as it were. Till that stage, do it with care. Kuru avadanam, mahadavadanam. Do it with great care. Because this is not something that you should rush through. And you are dealing with a very subtle equipment called your mind. So be very careful. Just as you will take care of the child, like that the mind is slowly molded and brought up to the stage. It is just a caution that is given here. So he says, do it with care, do it with great care. Kurvavadanam, mahadavadanam. That is why there is a emphasis here. Yes, sir.
Sir, we have said that Karma Yoga reduces the bulk of desire, Bhakti Yoga changes quality of desire, and Jnana Yoga changes the direction of the desire.
Right.
Now, the two questions relating to that. One is, when we are saying that a person is extrovert, vis-a-vis a person is introvert. So is this the direction change that we are talking about, or there's something else that once change converted to introvert, then these meditation and all coming to a single pointedness, that is said to be the direction of the
change in the direction of desire is actually change from the thoughts running into terrestrial to transcendental. See, all the yogas that we do, karma, bhakti and jnana, the chief yogas, are essentially to control, reduce our desires, and the functionality of each is different and the equipments that we use is different. Even karma yoga, when we do, you keep unselfish goal and do, there is mind and intellect involved, but there is a lot of activity that is involved. In order to sustain that on a goal, you have to keep you have to do a lot of actions. That is why karma yoga is a bulk of the desires are taken care and the quantity reduces by cultivating higher desires, higher goals. That is how karma yoga functions. Bhakti yoga deals with the quality in the sense, the moment the emotions are purer and higher, the automatic aspect of your desires and your relations with the world, which is turning into a universal love, forms the essential aspect of the bhakti. Jnana Yoga, which is a direct attack on your intellect, which is by reason and logic, it is telling you what is real and what is unreal, what is permanent and what is impermanent, makes your thought go from terrestrial to transcendental. That is the change in direction. Now here, Karma Yoga, see, what is to be practiced by each one of us is according to our composition and what is the stage that we are in. So there is nothing that is superior or inferior here. But by the virtue of the equipment that we use and the sadhana that is involved, obviously Jnana Yoga is subtler than the Bhakti and Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is, let us say, going by cycle from here to Delhi or any other smaller transport. By train if you go, that's Bhakti Yoga. By flight if you go, that's Jnana Yoga. That's faster. But the question is, who is the adhikari to do it? So each and every ball, if you hit a sixer, that's faster is the run. So here each and every thought, if it is turned towards transcendental, to that extent your path becomes faster and easier. So the change of direction is The focus of the thought from terrestrial to transcendental. That is it.
Not this from outward to.
No, that is an automatic process. It is also true that when you are extrovert, you will be doing more of karma, less of jnana. And even that jnana involves certain activities. But once the desires are subdued, you reach, let us say, a state of renunciation, you will automatically withdraw and absorb. So, a yogi becomes a sannyasi. That is the stage where, and it is not a strict boundary line. Slowly, your karma reduces and jnana increases. That way it will automatically happen. You yourself, in other words, that is why we say for a sannyasi that he need not leave the karma. A stage where karma will slowly leave you and your time and energy for bhakti and jnana will be automatically more possible. If you sit in even puja room or in a meditation without any disturbance, without any itch, you can sit there comfortably. That sort of a feeling that you will have at that point.
And the diagram what we have made here is indicating the process of meditation from multiple thoughts to a single point. Other day. Can we superimpose the effects of karma, bhakti and jnana on this?
Yeah, in the sense, we can map it in. See, but one point we have to remember is, when we do karma, bhakti or jnana, each and everything is trying to quieten the mind at that level. Okay, ultimately it culminates in meditation. Or rather, let us put it this way. When the thought frequency is at this level, you will do more of karma yoga. Here at this level, probably there will be a lot more bhakti, less of karma, and where here it is there, lot more of jnana will be automatically there. But it is because why does the thought frequency go like this? When the base thoughts are centered around my senses, my enjoyment, and that is where I need to, when the quantum of thoughts is more, the quality of thoughts is automatically less. That is how the pyramid is there. So at that stage, when I'm able to vigorously do unselfish actions, karma yoga, I'm able to control the thoughts with vis-a-vis a powerful goal or a powerful thought. So probably karma yoga is at that stage where you see little higher there, then bhakti and then jnana. You can map it that way. No, not on a very strict basis, but generally you can map it that way.
Getting a little of this. When we are talking about karam, bhakti and jnana, I'm just trying to articulate the question appropriately. The action, the karma that we are doing, that should be a desireless action, right? Because I don't know if it is the right comparison or a correlation. For example, if we see Swamiji, at the age of 92, there is no lack of action in his daily life. Even now, he doesn't need to, he doesn't want to, he's done it all and seen it all. He's going every 3 weeks, he's traveling somewhere or the other to share his knowledge. To that extent, I'm sure he's doing it without any personal desire or anything like that. But that's a desireless action, but he is doing action over there. So when we talk about doing, getting away from action, isn't that the dichotomy? Arjuna...
Sorry, where are we talking about getting away from action?
See, when we're talking about karma leaving us, we are
not talking about we getting away from actions. We are talking about actions getting away from us. There's a difference.
Yeah, but doesn't it boil down to the same?
No.
In that final, in this thing.
No, that's what I said in the last class. If you carefully analyze, a person at the introverted level also will do karma. Mm-hmm. And here we are talking about karma yoga. Karma yoga means you do karma as a path towards achieving something. Even Krishna says in 3rd chapter of Gita, Name partasti kartavyam trishulokeshu kinchana. Nanam aptama vaptavyam vattayeva cha karmani. I don't have even a bit of karma to be done or anything to achieve in the world, yet I engage myself in action. Mm-hmm. So somebody engaging himself in action need not necessarily amount to what we understand as karma yoga. Karma yoga is where you want to reach a goal and do unselfish actions, keeping a goal, all that is fine. But
But why should there be a goal, Swamiji, at all? If the karma is leaving you, why?
If it is leaving you, then there need not. How does it leave you? That is the point. Why and how it will leave you? Will it leave by itself? Unless otherwise you are going to catch hold of something else. Why will this leave you? Why will the toys leave the child? Unless otherwise the child has caught hold of something as a bicycle.
I'm missing some points, Swamiji. Krishna is a complete jnani. He is gone beyond even.
That is what I am saying.
Beyond
When you
even
brought
jnana
in
also.
Swamiji's example, it is the same thing that I am saying. You are seeing him doing actions, but he has nothing to achieve in the world. He has no desires. So nishkama karma can be done only by a jnani or a person who is at a high level of sannyasa. For all of us, to do nishkama karma or a desireless action is possible but impractical. Impractical in the sense I am not discouraging. We have to keep some higher goal and do in the line of self-realization. So to keep a higher goal in terms of serving others, in terms of an unselfish thing that you want to do something in the world. So our starting point is convert your own household activities and office activities into a unselfish attitude. So the change of attitude is karma yoga. So when you do that sufficiently, automatically a stage will come where you are more dynamic, more frequency is there within your system, but you are not engaged in hard physical work. You are very frequent at the thought level. So that is what is meant by introverted person. He is nowhere anyway, rather he is contributing much more to the world also. But his vigor in exercising the organs of action automatically get transformed into organs of perception and mind and intellect inside. That is the transformation. That will come only when you do the karma properly in the world. Otherwise, we do a lot of karma in the world. We deposit more seeds, more desires. That will produce more of karma in the future. We will take janma after janma, keep on doing that karma. So that is not the right method of doing the karma. Karma is turned into karma yoga when you dedicate it to a higher cause or a goal. That is the stage we are in. That is what we need to concentrate. Then comes, so in this process, make bhakti and a little bit of study in the morning, etc. as anga of it. Anga means part of your sadhana. Karma is the main thing. Main means that preoccupies much of your personality. Later stage, bhakti will become probably the main and karma will become anga or part of it. A later stage will come where you are in a state where contemplation and meditation is there on a preoccupying basis. Other things are for sustaining your body, you need something. I mean, that is also that way a physical activity, but all these are basic things that will be there. That's about all. So, what defines your personality is where your shraddha and where your total preoccupation is. That at the present level, due to the bulk of desires that we have to do a lot of karma yoga. So that is what is recommended at the initial stage of the sadhana.
So in the final analysis, nishkam karma is a karma which does not generate any further action.
Correct.
But you could be doing several such actions, which are all, it could be a goal oriented, if it is, no, they cannot.
No, think about what is the meaning of nishkama karma. When you say desireless action, first of all, analyze this question. Can any action be performed without desires? So what is it meant by desireless action? If you are able to analyze and come to that theorem conclusively, you will be able to understand it. So go to the basics and understand the definition of desireless actions. Regulation of pranas, life activities, withdrawal from sense activity, focus on distinction between eternal and ephemeral, practice of chanting and silencing the mind. These perform with care, with great care. We'll chant verse 31 twice.
Guru charanambuja nirbhara bhaktaha samsara dachirat bhava muktaha sendriya manasa niyama devam rakshyasi nija hridayastham devam. Guru charanambuja nirbhara bhaktaha samsara dachirat bhava muktaha sendriya manasa niyama devam rakshyasi द्रक्ष्यसि निज हृदयस्थं देवम्.
Surrendering to the lotus feet of the Guru, the devotee soon becomes liberated from samsara, terrestrial entanglement. Thus, through the control of senses and mind, you will behold the Lord seated in your heart. A very important grand conclusion to Bhaja Govindam. He talks about the importance of Guru. A great Guru, Adi Shankaracharya, to whom we attribute this text, Bhaja Govindam. Very objectively, he is saying, that there is no other way except to catch hold of the feet of the Guru. Even to achieve anything in this world, any field in this world, any subject in this world, think about it if it is possible without a Guru or without a guidance, without a master. It's not possible. And the world that we are seeing, you can learn, you can experience, you can understand, you can try it by yourself. Even there, in every field, there is a Guru that is required. A mentor, a guide, auditor. You are joining CA in audit firm. The auditor who is already there must give you the training, how to do the vouchers. No, you have gone through all the CA and BCom and I think, okay, that is theory, but you need to have a Guru. Of course, even in that class who teaches is a master only. A doctor has to practice under a trained doctor. A Purohit also, when he does this, he goes along with a seasoned priest and he learns all the things that needs to be done there. A cricket or any game needs a coach. It is there in each and every field, and these are fields visible to us. Can't you now see a YouTube and learn the batting by yourself? It is interesting. There is a ad where the son is saying that I need to practice a particular stroke. The mother immediately sees the YouTube and she practices and she teaches. Even then, it is the mother who has to see it and then practice and teach it to the son. See, I was listening to a lecture here. He was talking about Upanishad, I think. I don't know which Upanishad. Or even in Mundaka it comes. Tad vijnanatum sagurume vavi gachet samit pani shrotriyam brahmanishtam. You have to go and seek the Guru and learn the knowledge. Okay, in those days it was not there. Now we have Google. Now we have YouTube. Now we have everything at the fingertips. Why should we go to a Guru? So this question was asked to him by a girl. Not trying to be disrespectful, but genuinely she was asking, why do we need a Guru at all now? Now, that you need a Guru is given and you are not able to understand why you can't do without a Guru. When this question comes, where do you go? So you have to go to the Guru. There's no other choice. He said in a very simple way, he said, see, there is a personal touch when Guru is there. He understands, after all, the knowledge is through the consciousness actually. Many of you might have skipped many classes. Nobody can say that you attended all the class. If I am attending the class, okay, certain classes we have cancelled. Whether let's say I am going outside, it has been cancelled. But whenever I am here, this table has attended all the classes, we can say. No class this table has missed. But has the table learnt anything? Can it learn anything? It cannot. You cannot put in Jnana, knowledge, where there is no already a pre-existing knowledge or consciousness. It is not possible. And the source of the knowledge also cannot be from a jada. It's not possible. Why? So what is the transaction between? It is between consciousness of one person to consciousness of another person. That is why Krishna is a Jagat Guru, Adi Shankaracharya is a Jagat Guru, means Jagat, the eternal teacher is the supreme consciousness which is the eternal teacher. And who is the student? It is the same consciousness. To the extent that you have risen your consciousness, to that extent you will be able to relate. And interestingly, the subject matter is also consciousness. It's a very strange combination. The teacher, the taught and the subject matter are one and the same. So, it is not possible. And here we are talking about a realm not in the world, which is beyond the world. So, how can we ever reach there without the help of a guru? Not possible. Even the greatest of stories of bhaktas like Prahalada and Dhruva, we see interference of Narada early in their lives. Narada is the guru. Narada is a great guru. Anybody for that matter, there will be some connection or some guru. Sometimes for some very, freak type of people, even the God himself comes like a guru and hands them the knowledge. This is the legend that we see. Guru is no doubt the representation of the God himself. He is also the bridge between the individual and the God. Guru is somebody who we can relate to. When the God is there, he is there available for everyone, but we do not know how to approach him. We do not know where to start. Here is a person who says, I'll take you shoulder to shoulder there. So, if a person surrenders to God, well and good, he is taken care of. But if a person surrenders to a guru, no doubt after that, he has no problem whatsoever. His life is made. In Ramayana, at the eve of the war, Vibhishana decides to move out of Lanka. Ravana kicks him and says, get out. And he takes that as the mantra. And he says, in a way that he puts a namaskar to the direction that Ravana is there. Because he has given direction now, go wherever you want. And he says, so that is the mantra that he has taken. And he is coming to this side where Rama is. With him, 4 ministers who are very loyal and close to him, they also just like that move out. Because Vibhishana is moving out, they move out. They fly in the sky and come to this camp. And there is a Alochana Sabha, that is a assembly is convened to check whether Vibhishana can be taken or not. I mean, we know Rama, but yet he always follows the procedure. Okay. And very many people say that he should not be taken. Some say Sugriva and others. Everybody say he is from opposite camp. He cannot be trusted. Even if you want to be charitable, this timing is not correct. He might, tell our secrets to them. Or somebody says this will be a cunning ploy to create divide amongst ourselves. They are like this. Various people say various things. And Hanuman, who has been to Lanka, finally says, Vibhishana is somebody who we have to accept. And he gives the character certificate there of Vibhishana. Then Rama says, whether it is Vibhishana, Ravana also, as long as he has come to me, he is mine. Like that, Rama is accepting him. All this character certificate is available for Vibhishana. But there is not even any iota of discussion or doubt about the other 4 people who have come with them. Whether they should be accepted or not, because Hanuman has not seen each of them personally, he is not giving any certificate. And others who are usually doubtful, other Vanaras also, they don't even raise any questions. All the question is raised with reference to Vibhishana only. So Vibhishana is the one who is directly surrendering to God. All the others have just surrendered to Vibhishana. No questions asked. They are simply taken directly. That's about all. So, Vibhishana is the guru through which they have come, as it is. So, if we are able to catch hold of the guru, the life is made. It is through. So, here he says, Guru Charanambuja Nirbara Bhaktaha. The devotee who is surrendered to the lotus feet of the guru. Samsara Achirat. Achirat means erelong. Not much time. In this Janma itself. That's all it means. Now, here, today. Like that. Just like that. He will get himself disentangled from this samsara. What is this lotus feet of the guru? Lotus always represents the purity, the bliss, the consciousness. You see that all the gods and goddesses also stand on lotus, sit on lotus. Lotus represents the self. So, Guru feet is the lotus means Guru is standing on the feet. So, what is the substratum on which he is standing? What is the foundation on which he is standing? What is the base on which he is standing? He is the Guru. He is standing on Atma, Brahman. He is standing on the self. So, to that self, you prostrate. Catching hold of the feet of the Guru, literally also we do this pranam. This is falling at the feet. It's a great practice that Indians have. The devotee or the student or the shishya or the younger one falls like this at the feet of the Guru, and the Guru is standing like this. When we fall horizontally, it shows the attitude that your body, which has the mind and intellect in the same line, mind and intellect along with the body, is surrendering itself to the self, which is the feet on which the Guru is standing. So it is a very, no doubt, it is a literal practice and a symbolic representation also of the ultimate surrender. What is the aim of all our studies here is to finally get that attitude of surrender. That it is, I'm helpless, you please save me. That sort of a surrender. And this surrender is not a mere lazy surrender. One has to also put in the effort. So there is a proper balance of one's effort and the surrender. Surrender is there, definitely it is there, but do not leave your efforts also. It should go hand in hand. From time immemorial, this question is always there. Is it just the God's will or God's grace only, or is it your effort which finally takes you? Some people say it is Daiva Vada. Daiva Vada means the Vada or the argument which says it's all done by God. Some say it is the Purusha Vada or Manushya Vada. The power is with the man. By his own efforts he has to do. Actually it is there both. You do all your effort what you can up to your level which is there. Go up to your limit. Beyond your limit you have to surrender. Both have to go hand in hand. So he says here, Sendriya Manasa Niyama Devam. Sa Indriya Manasa Niyama. So you do everything to control your senses, your mind, and go along with the sadhana. Then you will behold the Lord in your own heart. Achirat. Achirat means, as I said, not long, ere long. So finally the conclusion is that of the Upanishad, where he says, you will behold the Lord seated in your own heart. Finally you will find out who you are. Finally you will find out who the Lord is. Understanding is the realization of the self within. This samsara, which seems to be never-ending cycle, we may take janmas and janmas after every time to cross over it. We do not know how long it will take. It doesn't matter. As long as you put in your effort, depends on your effort, you will cross over. But the moment you surrender, if somebody has decided to pull you off, he doesn't need janma after janma. That is why he says achirat. So we need to have that complete faith, complete surrender. With this attitude, you put in the effort. That is a wonderful thing. So therefore, finally, with the grace of the Guru, with the grace of the Lord, you will be able to behold yourself within. So the question arose as to, throughout the Bhaja Govindam, he says, who am I? Who am I? Ask that question. Kastvam koham. This question need to be asked as to who am I? Or you ask that question, who is God? Finally, you come to the same conclusion, same answer. The answer is realization of your own self. After the realization of your own self, all the doubts are dispelled. The ignorance is completely destroyed. What remains is pure consciousness. This is the state of self-realization or God realization. All should reach this state with the grace of Guru, with the grace of God. Surrendering to the lotus feet of the Guru, the devotee soon becomes liberated from samsara, terrestrial entanglement. Thus, through the control of senses and mind, you will behold the Lord seated in your heart. As tradition, we do not have the arrogance that we have finished the text Bhaja Govindam. It is only that we are starting the text today. This must be the attitude. So, in chorus, we shall chant the first verse and conclude.
Bhaja Govindam, Bhaja Govindam, Govindam, Bhaja Mudhamate. Samprapte sannihite kale, nahi nahi rakshati dukran karane.
पूर्णमुदच्यते पूर्णस्य पूर्णमादाय पूर्णमेवावशिष्यते ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः